You know, sports cars are cool and all, but when you've got friends or kids, or really just whenever you want to drive around with more than one other person, it's nice if they don't have to crawl over you to get in the back seat, and even better if they don't have to cut off their legs to actually fit back there. It's also pretty fun when you feel like doing a burnout and your kids are in the back seat, like, we're all gonna die! Basically, if you want that performance but you want back seats like that, you're gonna want a sedan, but for some reason, a lot of people think all sedans are slow.
No, it's totally made up. Pure fiction.
Well, today I've got the 8 fastest American sedans with the highest top speeds. Let's get into it. Now, for everyone who doesn't have friends and wants to know the fastest cars as of 2020, regardless of whether they're sedans or two-doors, I made a video a while back you can check out after this. The cars here are in order from slowest to fastest, and for the stats, I tried my best to find numbers from Motor Trend or Car and Driver tests. Also, let me know what videos you guys want to see in the future if it's about car lists or the car community. Getting into it now, the first car is the 2014 to 17 Chevrolet SS. The top speed on these is limited to 160 miles an hour, which is pretty quick, but unrestricted, it's said to be able to hit 180. They've got LS3 engines making 415 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. Usually for sale between 36 and 45 grand, they're a little more expensive than I was thinking, but considering how new they are and how they compare to other performance cars, I'd say the price kind of makes sense. It's also hard not to love an LS3 engine, and if you wanted a base C6 or a 5th gen Camaro, but you want the extra room, this is the perfect choice for you.
Let me guess. Your home?
It was. And it was beautiful. Titan was like most planets.
I've also seen some of these that are really mean and built to crazy levels. If it wasn't for that limiter, they'd definitely be higher on the list, but because of it, I have to keep them as the first entry. Next up is actually 2 slightly older cars, and they're the 06 to 2010 SRT8 Chrysler 300 and Dodge Charger. I put these together because they're basically the same thing. They both hit a top speed of around 173 miles an hour and use a 6.1 liter V8 making 425 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque. They also both weigh around 4,100 pounds and usually cost between $19,000 and $26,000. I'd say the Chrysler looks alright and has a little modding potential, but the Charger definitely looks better stock and has even more modding potential. I also think the 300s are a little less expensive, but they're much harder to find. For me, I'd take the Charger any day. For the third car, we've got another Mopar, but it's the 2015 to 2020 Charger 392s with an electronically limited top speed of 175 miles an hour. Compared to the Chargers made before 2015, these ones are just more. More power with 485 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque, more engine with 6.4 liters, and since they got the facelift, more better looking. Along with all that, they're more expensive, between 40 and 45 grand, and they weigh more, sitting around 4,400 pounds.
Damn.
That top speed was from manufacturer, but after looking at a bunch of forums and checking as many websites as I could, it seems pretty legit and makes sense compared to other speeds for these cars. The fourth car for today is the 09 to 2014 Cadillac Gen 2 CTS-Vs. These hit a top speed of 186 miles an hour with supercharged 6.2-liter LSA V8s. This is the same engine that's in the 5th gen Camaro ZL1s, which is based on the wild LS9 and C6 ZR1s. They make 556 horsepower and 551 pound-feet of torque and weigh just over 4,200 pounds. For the price, which is somewhere between $34,000 and $40,000, these are a pretty damn good deal considering the performance they give, the sound they make, the build quality, and the looks. A lot of old people do drive normal CTSs, so a stock one of these could maybe sometimes be confused as just an old person mobile, but even if someone old is driving one of these, they'll really be moving. And with a few mods like a rear lip, front splitter, and an exhaust, nobody's ever gonna think this thing is slow or for old people. I'm not really sure how everyone else feels about this, but I definitely take the sedan version over the coupe. Personally, I just think the back end of the coupe is too big and bulky looking, and the whole design just seems a little unbalanced. I haven't been in one before, but also because of the angle of the rear window, I feel like whenever I try to look out the back, I'd be like,
I can't see shit out of this thing.
But I could be completely wrong. Next up is another Cadillac, but this time it's the 2016 to 2019 ATS-V automatic sedan. Instead of a bald eagle making LS V8, these have a double spoolie boy 3.6 liter V6 engine. Although personally, I'd even take the Gen 2 CTS just because of the engine sound, these do still make 464 horsepower and 445 pound-feet of torque. Because of that, they hit a top speed of 189 miles an hour.
Not bad, not bad.
The 0 to 60 is also very impressive at just 3.7 seconds as tested by Motor Trend. At 3,800 pounds, they're significantly lighter than the more powerful V8 Cadillacs and usually priced between 40 and 50K. They're not a whole lot more expensive than the older Gen 2s, and they're much cheaper than the Gen 3s. Speaking of Gen 3 CTS-Vs, they're the third to final car with a top speed of 200 miles an hour. I will start with probably the one downside to these to just get it out of the way. They usually cost between $60,000 and $75,000. Now for the long list of good things about this car, they've got the supercharged 6.2 liter LT4 V8, which is in the C7 Z06 and Camaro ZL1s for anyone who doesn't know, and they make 640 horsepower and 630 pound-feet of torque. With that and the fact that they weigh a fairly modest for the list 4,100 pounds means they get from 0 to 60 in just 3.7 seconds. I'd also say they look pretty damn mean stock, and they obviously sound incredible with the LT4 supercharger in the front and bald eagles shooting out the back. For a GM performance car that's not a two-door, this is basically the ultimate machine and the best thing out there. To afford it, I'd say it's probably worth it to ask around to your neighbors for a little bit of help.
I am once again asking for your financial support.
The second to last car is the 2015 to 2020 Dodge Charger Hellcat. The top speed on this was a little bit controversial from all the digging I did, but there is a video of Dodge actually achieving an average top speed of 202 miles an hour. From the iconic Hellcat engine, they make 707 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque. The downside is these weigh over 4,500 pounds, but tested by Motor Trend, they still managed to do a 3.70 to 60. Usually priced around $55,000, these also give great performance for the cost. The final car for today and the fastest American sedan is the Dodge Charger Redeye with a reported speed of 203 miles an hour. Although that's lower than the 204 Dodge achieved with a normal Hellcat, it's higher than the reported speed for the 2020s of 196. Since the reported speed is higher than what they reported for a normal Hellcat, I felt like this should be at the top of the list. And if the only difference to these is the wide body and increase in power, then it would make sense that the Redeye is slightly faster than a normal Hellcat. These have beefed up Hellcat engines making 797 horsepower and 707 pound-feet of torque. This all sounds pretty great, doesn't it? The insane power and speed and the extra thick body, but if you thought the CTS-V was expensive, here's the sad part. These are selling right now for over $90,000.
All around me are familiar faces.
As great as these are, I personally don't think I'd pay that much to get one of these over a regular Charger Hellcat for even 60 or 65 grand and then doing a little work to get that extra power. That's just me though. Let me know what videos you guys want to see in the future, whether it's American car lists, non-American car lists, or stuff focused on the good and bad types of car people. Also, which one of these sedans is your favorite? I'm a huge fan of the CTSs, and I think for the price, the Gen 2s are the best deal for looks, performance, and sound. For anyone who's new to the channel, I upload American car news and content like this every week. If there's something you want to see or a question you have, leave a comment below or send me a DM on Instagram. As always, thank you all very much for watching. I genuinely appreciate every one of you guys. I'll see you all next week. Have a great day.